Though our top story today is Google, and it's facing a very tough decision in China. The Mountain View, California-based internet search giant says it could very well leave the communist country because hackers are breaking into accounts of human rights activists. Kitty Boo in Beijing at Reuters reports.
Internet giant Google has made a shock threat to quit China, the world's biggest internet market by users, after hackers accessed human rights activists' email accounts. The announcement by the world's top search engine comes amid growing tensions between China and the United States over internet freedom, with U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton saying she sought an explanation from Beijing on the Google case, which raised concerns and questions. China has so far not commented, but industry watcher Duncan Clark, chairman of BDA, says Google may have nothing to lose by shutting its Google.cn website.
They're doing what they can. They've already announced that they're not going to be competing as aggressively in China as they have in the past. But they still thought at least they can do R&D in this country and benefit from Chinese engineering talent here. But I think they're beginning to feel that even maintaining a minimal presence here, as they had already planned, may be compromising potentially their own company principles and their own potentially reputation in the U.S. in this critical year.
Google's threat has drawn praise from local internet activists in a country with over 360 million web surfers and annual search revenue topping $1 billion. A handful of Chinese well-wishers delivered flowers to Google's China headquarters in Beijing. One member of the group, Zhao Gang, says the flower represented their support for the company.
You could say we feel a kind of anger. It's heartfelt, and coming to Google's offices here shows that we support them.
China is one of the few markets where Google is not the search engine leader. Baidu, which commands a 60% share of the internet search market, tops Google with 30%. Shares of Baidu and competitor Sina gained on the China internet news, while Google had earlier declined in U.S. trading. Kitty Boo, Reuters.
Okay, let's go across to Eric Orchard, Reuters technology columnist in London, to talk more about Google. Eric, good afternoon. This is a very tough decision, of course, because China represents such a big and potentially lucrative market. Everybody and their dog wants to be in China. Is Google perhaps being a little bit too hasty in its decision, or are things really that bad for this massive company?
Google's been in China officially for 4 years. There's nothing hasty about it. They went in with open eyes. There was a lot of criticism when they first entered China 4 years ago. They said they had weighed the decision, the choice between staying out of China and dodging the issue of whether they were helping contribute to the censorship that goes on there, and getting involved in China and helping promote the free flow of information.
Okay, so Eric, Google, it's a company concerned about making money, gaining market share, so why should it get involved in human rights issues, no matter how important they are, let's not forget that, and violations of privacy of Chinese citizens? I mean, the market is unlikely going to reward Google for this, right?
Google is in a real battle in China. They've been doing rather well, but they have major competition from the local internet leader, Baidu, who is stronger than Google, and in some ways Google's troubles with authorities, the issues of censorship, the fact that Baidu has a search engine that's native Chinese, whereas Google has to translate things, has made for a lot of it's just made for a tough competitive environment for Google in China relative to other countries it's in.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Thank you very much for your analysis. A very important story. We're going to go across to Karina Hubert in a little bit to see what Google shares are doing in futures trade. Let's stay in China, in fact, and the country's decision to tighten monetary policy yesterday has caused a great deal of angst